In this tutorial, we will show how to model a simple expansion chamber two ways. One way is using 3 pipes. The second way is using 2 pipes and the SIDLAB expansion chamber element. The example we use is in the SIDLAB Help menu under Tutorials, and it is called Simple Expansion Chamber. This is the model and the dimensions we will be using. Notice it is just a small pipe on one end, a small pipe on the opposite end, connected by a larger pipe. So we will get to SIDLAB, and we first go to the modeling screen of SIDLAB, and we will drag in the first pipe. There we give it a length dimension of 400 millimeters, and we will give it a diameter of 116.5 millimeters. Notice that SIDLAB fills in the area. Since we have the same pipe on the other end of the large pipe, we will simply do a Control-C copy and then a Control-V paste, and we now have two identical pipes for the beginning and the end of the muffler. You'll see that in both cases they have the identical length, area, and diameter. We now bring in the middle pipe, which is a larger diameter, so it will have a diameter of 240 millimeters, and it will have a length of 540 millimeters. Now we must connect the model using the connection icon. And we need to give the model a beginning point, which is a green dot, and a stopping point, which is a red dot. So we now can go to the solution screen, and we are ready to calculate the transmission loss for this model. And we're going to increase the frequency range to 2000, which will be obvious why we did that later. We press the Calculate Acoustics button, and we get transmission loss as a function of frequency, and you see there our blobe type behavior, which is typical of a very simple expansion chamber muffler. The red dotted line shows the limitation of the model, so the model is good at frequencies below the red line and not so good frequencies above the red line. And this is because in this case the way we did the model is assuming plane wave theory through the whole system. Now we want to be able to compare this to the model that we're going to do with the expansion chamber element. So we will go back to the management screen, and now we will save that current version. And we can give it a new name or a new description, and we'll simply call that 3 pipes. Now if we go back to the modeling screen, notice over here in the SIDLAB elements there is a element for expansion chamber. So we're going to eliminate the middle pipe, and we will drag in and drop the expansion chamber element. Now there's a lot more information that we can put in to this element, but for now we will just again repeat the chamber length of 540 millimeters and the chamber diameter of 240 millimeters. And then it also is going to want a inlet and outlet pipe diameter, which is the same as these 2 pipes. So we will give it 116.5, and the other pipe, and the outlet diameter of the same, 116.5. Now we have all the necessary information, there's sufficient information in order to solve this model. So we will connect as before. And now we are ready to run this model in the solution screen. We will calculate acoustics. And we now have a new transmission loss. Notice that the lobes are no longer the same height. This is because the SIDLAB expansion chamber element is including high order modes in its calculation. And notice also that the red line has moved up from here up to almost 1700 Hertz. And so the model is good over a much wider range because SIDLAB is now calculating plane wave and higher order modes in the expansion chamber element. If we want to compare that directly with the first model, we can press the compare button, and then we go back to the first version which we made, which is called 3 pipes, and we do a plot comparison, and it will compare the two plots. So this ends the tutorial on the simple expansion chamber model.